Hey everyone, hope you all are well. Today I'm kicking things off by priming the eyes with my Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. It's literally just going to prep the eyes for the shadows that are to come. It'll help them adhere to the eyes a bit better, it'll allow them to blend nice and smoothly and last all day long. And if you've any sort of discoloration on the eye area, just go in with an eyeshadow base first or some foundation over your lids beforehand. So today I'm using the Urban Decay Born to Run eyeshadow palette. It owes me nothing, I get so much use out of it. I have a million tutorials on it, as I'm sure you know, and if you didn't, I have a full playlist down below. The first shadow I'm starting with today is called Riff. It's a lovely warm toned brown with a matte finish to it. I've picked this up on a Coastal Scents BR 250 brush, and I'm blending this colour into the crease of the eye, just using back and forward sweeping motions, running the colour from outer to inner corner. And when I have the bulk of the product off of my brush, I'm raising it a little higher up towards the brow bone to fade out the shadow to nothing the closer to the brow area that we get. And I'm also going to flick it upwards and outwards to give a nice elongated feel to the eyes. I'm going in with a second helping of that shadow now. I am happy with the blend upon first application, but I do want to intensify the colour a bit more, so I'm going in with a second layer. So same process before, we're just sweeping back and forth in the crease using a mix of circular motions and windshield wiper motions to fade out that shade. And then once I'm happy with how that looks, I'm switching to the smudger end of a brush that came with the Naked Honey palette. I'm sweeping some more of that Riff shade down along the lower lash line, making my way from the outer edge of the eye right into the tear duct. And once I come to that outer edge, I'm going to sweep back up onto the lid so that everything fades nicely into one another. Now we're going in with that vibrant orange shade. I'm literally just ever so slightly dipping my brush into this colour. I want a really light coating of this just on the tips of the bristles, and then I'm running it into the crease too, layering it over that Riff shade. Basically, I just wanted a hint more warmth. I didn't want full blown orange, which is why I didn't add that shade first and then blend Riff into it. So what I do to the top now, I do to the bottom. So I'm just dipping the smudger brush again into that orange shade and fading it down along the lash line, overlapping it with the shade Riff. So to add some depth to the look, I'm taking the shade Punk. It's a warm, medium toned kind of plumish brown, and I've picked this up on a Sedona Lace EB09 Universal Blending Brush. I've began by tapping this down on the eyelid, and then I'm fading that shadow up to and across the crease. I'm only taking the shade about halfway across the crease though. I do want to keep that darkness to the outer portion of the eye. So I'm blending this shadow in sort of a sideways V shape, so from the lid blending out towards the tail of the brow and then back in on itself into the crease. Not been too precise with this shade because I'm going to come back to it in a while. So I'm moving on to the inner half of the lid now. I'm starting with the shade Ignite. It's a lovely metallic kind of golden copper shade, and what I did was pick up some of this on a blank canvas E26 flat shader brush. I sprayed my brush with some of the Glow All Nighter setting spray from Urban Decay, and now I'm patting this down just sort of maybe about halfway across the eyelid. Then I'm going to go in with the shade Accelerate, which is the same, it's in the same color family as the previous shade. It's just a deeper copper shade. It's got more of a pearlescent finish to it, and I'm just using the same brush to apply this to the remaining part of the lid. And these two shades are a match made in heaven. They fade beautifully into one another, and I do like to use the same brush when I'm using two shades on the lid, because I'll keep flipping my brush over and back, tapping down where the two shades meet to fade them seamlessly into one another. And the reason, like I said earlier, was I wasn't so fussed about that brown being perfect was because I was going to go back in and intensify it again now. Just so that I've got the lid shades in place, I'm just then going to darken up that outer edge of the eye once again. And I'm fading the remainder of the shade across into the crease. So once I'm happy with how that looks, I'm then going to take a little bit more of the shade Punk, and I'm applying it down along the lower lash line, running it about halfway along there, and using a brush like this is just going to give me a nice soft smoky appearance to that shade. Next then I'm taking this shade Stranded. It's a lovely shimmery golden shade, and I've picked this up on a pencil brush from Sedona Lace. I'm swirling this around the tear duct of the eye just to add a nice highlight to that area. For the waterline then, I'm taking this brown retractable liner from YSL. I'm just lining inside the eye, and then I'm going to close my eye around the pencil and run it back and forward, just to ensure that I coat the top and bottom waterline at the same time. Just makes everything a little bit easier to do, especially if your eyes are watery like mine. But then I'm going to just go back in and blend underneath the lash line again, just to make sure that everything is nice and soft and blended. You can never blend too much. And then I'm going in with the shade Jet. It's a kind of soft black shadow with a slight shimmer to it. I'm using a Sedona Lace angled brush just to start to wriggle some of this shade into the lashes, into the upper lashes. I'm going to press it down and start on the outer portion, and then flip my brush around and make my way across to the inner corner of the eye. This will make the lashes appear that little bit darker. It'll also conceal the band of lashes that I'm going to be applying in a moment's time. But once I've got that on there and kind of onto the lid area ever so slightly, I'm then going in with the smudger brush from Royal & Langnickel, and I'm blending right over that black just to make sure that it's nice and soft and faded. I don't want any harshness, which is why I didn't really go in with a liner pencil for this area. I've added some lashes from Eyelure, and now I'm just taking whatever was left on that angled brush and I'm lightly tapping it into the lashes on the outer corner. To blend my own lashes in with the false ones, I'm using the Bambi Lash Mascara from L'Oreal, and then I'm applying this to the bottom lashes too, but then that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you found it helpful and easy to follow. If you did, please do let me know, and I will catch you all really soon.